Welcome to the Root of It All podcast with Tree, where you will learn new habits for human betterment. We talk about all things related to personal growth, and everything is on the table. Each episode will explore different topics like self-care, mindfulness, goal setting, and more, with a focus on practical tips and actionable advice you can start implementing in your life today. Our goal is to help you become the best version of yourself and live a more meaningful life. So grab a drink, cozy up, take your dog for a walk, or go for a drive. Join us for some fun and meaningful conversations with some amazing humans. Let's grow together.
Hey everybody, this is Tree from the Root of It All with Tree. And today, for the very first podcast that we're going to be extending out to you for your ears to get love of information, I have my mentor and the original founder of the Burlington Hypnosis Centre, Robbie Spier Miller. So thank you so much for being my very first person on the podcast. So welcome.
Honored. I'm so excited for your podcast. I love the name. It's perfect.
Yeah, and I can't even take credit for the name. One of my personal assistants came up with it, and I agree. I love it and amazing, amazing, amazing. So I wanted to share you with the world because you've been such a mentor to me. So Robbie is the founder of the Burlington Hypnosis Center, and I bought the Burlington Hypnosis Center off of her. About almost 3 years ago now. And she's also the founder and the owner of the Hypnosis Training Canada. So she has trained hundreds of thousands of people to do amazing things to help people move through difficult situations in their life. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, my passion is really helping people discover what's possible for them. And the root for me, the root of this is that years ago when I started learning hypnosis, I was motivated because I didn't actually have children yet, but I knew I eventually wanted to have children. And I knew there were things, the ways that I grew up that weren't really useful for me. And I was frustrated because I wanted to change them and I didn't know how. And I started to discover how with hypnosis. So I'm very passionate about helping other people discover that too. And my mission is really to guide people through that and be a trusted source. One thing I've found over the years is that many students have never had anybody in their life who they could truly trust to guide them and kind of backfill any holes that were there in their development or their growth or ways they got stuck in their lives, or help usher them to what's next for them. And that's really the role that I play for people, is to help them discover what that means for themselves and show themselves what's possible. So I love it. I love seeing, whether it's clients or students, seeing them thrive, seeing them do things they never imagined they could do, handle life in ways that are way more resourceful than they thought they could. So that's really why I do what I do.
Yes, and that has carried on through me as well. So even all the people that you're training and that you're mentoring, that sentiment and your mission is being carried on through that. And I wanted to the amazing culture that's created within the Master Hypnotist Society Canada, Master Hypnotist Society, and also Hypnosis Training Canada, all the students. So it's more of this larger conglomerate of what not only are you part of creating it all, but also, bringing so many people into the fold to really feel exactly what it is that you just spoke about, like to help people go through what it is that they may not have the tools for at the time, but really teaching them the tools to move through it, giving them the experience that they need as well. And I'm really saying this out of passion for myself, because I am one of those people that you've helped and trained, and now have a very successful clinic of helping people through the things that they need to go through as well. And so teach everybody just something that we can take away, maybe common frustrations that you find, maybe common themes that people come to you with in terms of from maybe a business perspective, or maybe an individual perspective, or maybe your own perspective, whatever you want to share.
Okay, all right. Well, usually what happens is people get stuck because they're either in pride or they're in self-pity. And neither one is useful, right? So people who are in pride are really focusing on the things that they're good at and they're ignoring the things they could improve. And so they may be doing well and very successful in life, but there are things that they're burying their head in the sand about. My family's Jewish and my dad speaks Yiddish, and my sister went through this phase where she wanted to learn Yiddish words, and there are a lot of Yiddish curses or interesting metaphors about life. And one of them talks about it's a curse that you put on somebody that says, "May you grow like an onion with your head in the ground." And so when people are too caught up in pride or self-pity in either of those states, they are like an onion with their head in the ground, and there's so much more that's possible, or they're hurting themselves in various ways. And so a lot of this is being willing to level and look at life, look at what's going well, and acknowledge that sometimes the things that are going well make us spoiled. They give us a way to ignore what we really need to do, or to overcompensate in one way so we can get away with things in another way. And so what we want is for people to get used to and comfortable with, as comfortable as possible, because yeah, it can be uncomfortable to face things, but to be willing to have some feedback and acknowledge where they're in their way, because otherwise it's like, does a fish know it's swimming in water? It has no idea. It's been swimming in water its whole life. So usually when we've been doing the same hypnotic trance, or ways of interacting with life over and over, that we don't even know we're doing them. And so ha- helping people see that having the courage to do that and to grow through these patterns is really helpful. From the self pity point of view, it's never useful in life to be a victim, even if you've been through something that's awful and unfair and should never have happened. To play the victim role always hurts people more. It might hurt people themselves or others around them. So we really want to help people take responsibility for their lives, look at what needs to happen. And the culture that we have here with learning and growing is very much about people being supportive of each other in that, because a lot of people are worried that if people know, then they're going to be abandoned or they're not okay. And it's about discovering that, hey, I'm already okay and people love and accept me, and cool, I can learn this new thing, or I can have other choices here. And that's really the foundation that we start from with people. So when I'm screening people to train them, I'm looking for people to be willing to participate in that and welcome it, even if it's uncomfortable. And sometimes it is, but to realize that staying stuck where they are is not a useful option, that it's worth it and safer and so much better to be willing to learn to live life this way. And I'm speaking from a background where in my family, to admit the flaws was the worst thing you could do. The whole game was to hide them. So for me to get used to this in the beginning when I was training was not an easy thing. But what kept me going was that I knew I didn't want to keep it the way it was. I knew something had to change. So, we have a very wonderful place here to help people discover that and know that that's possible for them.
Yeah, and it's really, people end up at the Burlington Hypnosis Center or with you to train when they're in some sort of pain, right? When they're in some sort of discomfort, when they're looking at the world around them and they're just like, oh, okay, this, I don't, and they're sort of stuck. They don't even know where to go, what to do. They just know that they feel a lot of discomfort, and some of that discomfort could even be physical discomfort, right? Like, so the Burlington Hypnosis Center, uh, we do weight loss, stop smoking, sleep management, stress management, all these sorts of things. And these are sometimes can just be symptoms to the things that you're talking about, right? That they're just like in self-pity, or they're pissed off because somebody wasn't there for them, right? Whereas, like you said, having more choices that, like, okay, well, you can still be pissed off about, things that you can't change or people that you can't change, or you can change yourself and level with yourself and really step into what needs to happen, what your mission is, your mission meaning all of human race, right? And understanding that even if all of us as humans started to level more and learn the tools and how to level, know that they're safe. Like, exactly, I'm repeating some of the things that you said, just saying it in a different way, so people can learn from all different sides of this. And it's a beautiful thing once people do level and learn how to level faster, learn how to have the experiences that they need to go through and actually have the experience, like take the action, right? And so one thing that you've taught me and that you teach a lot of people is really about this theme of modeling, right? Of rehearsing, of stepping into, um, of looking at people and how it is that they're interacting in the world around them, and asking self, okay, is this a better useful way of how maybe I can get to where I want to be, where I want to level? So tell us a little bit more about that, about modeling in general, or the benefits of that.
Sure. Yeah. So when people are stuck, like for me years ago, around the time I discovered this, I was really upset with myself because I was repeating the same old patterns over and over and over. And I would say, why can't I be like her? Why do I keep doing that? And what the discovery I made through learning hypnosis was that I was looking at the wrong thing. I needed to ask the question, how can I? And the beautiful thing about this is that the world is full of models of people who are doing the things we want to do better successfully. And so if we imagine that we're acting as if we're like that person and we're looking at the world through their eyes and we're feeling the way they're feeling and we have the same attitudes and beliefs and behaviors and we're really willing to embrace that, we discover what's possible. And it does require discovering how to break out of old hypnotic trances, which is really where hypnosis comes in, because we can rationalize about this all we want. I know lots of people have read tons of self-help books or business books or whatever, how-to books, and you can understand what to do. I've worked with doctors, nutritionists, I've worked with people who've been very successful coaches but are still stuck in their own lives because they're still trying to make the changes in a rational way. And so when we use hypnosis, we're making the changes at a subconscious level, which is where our habits are and our emotions and the things we've been doing over and over. So that's really where the power comes from. So we want to ask, how can I do this the way I want to do it? We're looking for models in the real world that have already done that successfully. And then we're using our subconscious minds to really embrace that and welcome it. Because otherwise, we end up in what's called top dog, underdog thinking, where we're saying, well, there's a part of me that wants to be really confident speaking in front of people. And there's another part of me that's really afraid. Right. And we end up debating ourselves forever. And as long as that's happening, then the fearful part is always going to win. So, and that's just our subconscious mind protecting us from danger. So, what we're looking for here is to help people discover, hey, there's a new way, and I can be single minded and fully agree to embrace that and model that. And so there are often things we need to do to get a person ready to engage with the modeling process in a useful way.
Hmm. And the interesting thing when was first learning this from you is that I didn't realize, like, my background in terms of, I somewhat raised myself since I was about 10 years old. And I unknowingly, until I learned about this concept, was actually doing this because I was trying to get out of the pain of what was going on, um, even at such a young age of 10 years old, and trying to go towards pleasure. I'm very much a towards pleasure, like, almost. And I know sometimes you're like, hey, Tree, like, just come back a little bit into reality, because I will go way far out. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm so full of energy and just, you know, and I'm getting better at ringing myself in. You know, sometimes my husband does that too, because I'm like, oh, hey babe, let's do this. Let's do this. It'll be amazing. And, you know, it creates a lot of fun and diversity and but I do bring it back a bit. But when I was younger, I actually did look at different parents of friends of mine and thought to myself, okay, yes, this is where I want to go. And so I spent a lot of time at friends' houses with their parents, with their families. So I literally and I can't really pinpoint exactly what it was that I did, but I immersed myself in other people's families, and they were so welcoming and nurturing, like their parents were in that way. So I got what I needed, and even modeled different things of, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. I got my first job when I was like 13, 14 years old, and started modeling even the business owners or other management that worked there. And you know, I literally just kept doing that, went forward, and, you know, opened my own business when I was 18 years old in the fashion industry. I remember, I think I told you the story before that you know, I submitted designs to do this fashion show to get, you know, into this fashion show and I was declined. So I was like, okay, I need to be different. So I submitted this like knitwear and I got approved to be part of this fashion show. And then I was like, woohoo, I got approved. This is amazing. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, I have to knit all of this stuff. Like, because I submitted just the drawings, but then, okay, but you know, I just did it. I got it done. Even when I got to the fashion show, you know, everyone loved the designs. I showed up with my own models and everything and the people that actually organized the show, they didn't have models and people assumed that they had, you know, so everyone was using the models that I brought, which is great for the models that I brought because they got all these extra pictures and things. And then people were coming to me after the show, "Well, where can we buy your clothes?" And I'm like, do you have a business card? And I'm like, um you know, so we really learn as we go along and just really just continue to go forward and knowing that as we're learning that you just it's like the process is go and do experience and then alter as needed, model and then model the next person that you need. What is the next step, right? That there's no such thing as failure, that there's only feedback, and that the world is truly our oyster. We can really go and the faster we level, the faster we go to the next person that we need to model. That's the pace in which you're deciding for yourself, right? And through Hypnosis Training Canada, through Burlington Hypnosis, we really take people through this, through different levels, through different wherever they're at. I mean, one thing that I model from you, Robbie, is this sort of taking a step back for a moment. And when I mean a step back, I mean to see the bigger picture, right? Because I'll just run and chase. And it's so funny. I'll like I constantly like, hey Robbie, I need feedback on this. And you're like, well, this, well, that it's like, okay, all right, I'm good. Let's go. It's like I recalibrate and just it's like no tree. You have to hold the compass in this direction to know that north is in the right direction. Right.
Right.
And you know, we have a lot of you and I, we have tons of laughs along the way. So even laughter is such an amazing thing that is threaded through the culture, right? And which is a great thing. Um, like we have so much fun. It's unbelievable the amount of fun that we have and fun at the same time learning, leveling, understanding that there's no such thing as failure. We're all just human, having human experiences, right? And so so what else like is there something else that you want to add in terms of learnings or nuggets or
Yeah, so you've done a beautiful job of modeling, and it's cool that you started doing it when you were 10 because we're in what's called the modeling phase is a natural phase of development around that time frame.
Mhm.
And so you just kind of did it intuitively, right? So you learning it at that phase was amazing for you, and you've done a very beautiful job of that. I would say from a business point of view, if people are in business and they're stuck, sometimes what happens is that when people experience success, it can limit them because they get used to the routine they're in or what they're already good at. And so they're not willing to focus on the things that need work, right? So for example, if you're really somebody who's great at modeling and going and making things happen and your business grows to the size where you have people working for you, usually those people working for you don't know how to do what you know how to do. And there can be a disconnect between your approach to building the business and having those people be in a position to really help you. And so learning about people and how to interact with that and be in a leadership role that really works is something that often business leaders need to get better at, or they need training for their staff to help them learn how to model what's useful. Because usually, if somebody works for somebody else, they're not as good at running with things and modeling things. Because if they were, often they work for themselves. They're entrepreneurs, right?
Mm.
So helping people go from one being used to one routine to another is something that we help a lot of people with, and pride can really get in the way, because if we've had success and we're prideful about it and we're feeling confident because of that success, it can feel very vulnerable to be willing to stretch in a different direction, and in a direction that we might not be as good at. So Tree, you've done an amazing job of being willing to do that. And so, we really want to inspire other people to do that more, because if you've already experienced a certain level of success, you want to go, hey, what else can I do? How much more can I facilitate other people in making their lives better? How much more can I contribute? Which is really what we do is all about. Right? It's helping people discover, how they can be on their mission in life, whatever that mission happens to be.
Yes, and it helps people all like everything that you said. It also helps people even uh relationships with themselves and relationships with others, right? And
Yes.
so, yeah, so it's a very humbling thing to be able to let go of pride, to really like, because it's the truth is it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about the human in front of us, right? And it's unique, like the things that, we're not talking specifics about what it is that we teach or anything. It is this higher level mission,
Mhm.
right? It's this higher level of, okay, what does this human in front of us need in terms of what's going on in their life? What's, what are the pressures? Is it the pressure that they're putting on themselves? Is it the pressures around the world? Is it the way that they're viewing the things around them? And so we really come at it from this a higher level perspective, this unique point of view, right? Of really, you've been doing it for almost 20, 25 years, I forget now. I've been doing it for 10, 15 years, I forget now. um and it's almost like this, it becomes intuitive almost, right? And that's also what you're teaching for Hypnosis Training Canada, is for people to be able to have their own successful hypnosis business, and to be able for them to step into that. And you have a lot of, you've helped and trained so many people to open their own businesses all across Canada. And I can say that all across Canada, right? Like, I think the only province you haven't trained somebody to open their own business is Newfoundland, or but I think it's every other province you have somebody in, right?
Yeah, I think pretty much. Pretty close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which is amazing. And so it's a lot of proof there that this works. This works for the even the end user, right? Like, um, and I hate even using that word. That's a business word, but it's like, but it's really to kind of dovetail back to the initial thing, what you're saying about your mission, and that your what your passion is, and the proof in which you've really spread that to really make that happen for, dare I say, universally, right? And so yeah, let's keep on going and expanding this and making it even a larger conglomerate for, people opening more businesses, to having more successful businesses, for people, actually feeling better, because that is the end user. And I truly, truly, strongly feel that the world, how it is right now, needs this, needs these tools, needs guidance. A lot of clients that come through the Burlington Hypnosis Center, they feel so much better. They actually want to become a clinic owner, or even within, maybe they're in sales, or they're doing different things, and that I I passed them on to Robbie, right, to go through the training. And but the truth is, whoever comes in, whichever way they come in, we, sometimes it's you and I speaking with them, and then, okay, what are their needs? Are they with you, or are they with me, or whatever it is? And that's really our approach, is what does this human need, right? And yeah, go ahead.
Whatever people are coming with and whatever level they're looking for help, when they make those changes, it impacts all kinds of people and outcomes around them. So it has a ripple effect. It's not just helping that one person. So that's pretty cool to see, when we keep in touch with our clients over time, when we often do, we learn about how this has impacted their lives and other people's lives in all kinds of ways. So it's pretty inspiring.
Yes, it's very inspiring, and anyone that has had any kind of touch point with us knows that, it's not, the change happens not only in them, exactly what you said, and people come to us and they're like, wow, my relationship with my husband or partner is better. Wow, I can't believe, like, they came for weight loss, or to stop smoking, or for stress management, and all of a sudden, they're doing better at work. They've gotten a promotion at work, whereas they didn't come to us for that. But those are the repercussions of that, because it really is not only that into one individual human, but that one individual human is connected to hundreds of humans, right? Like, and so it's, I have, and me, and I'm sure you as well, have a lot of clients that they're like, oh yeah, my relationship with my son or my daughter, and oh, I taught them this, and wow, it's changing their life as well. And so yeah, it really is this global change that I really feel that is happening right now. And people, to get the change that they need, is, I feel humbled, and I know you do too, to be a part of that. So
Mhm.
um yeah,
Yes,
is it
it's such an amazing thing to be able to do for others. And when people participate at whatever level they do, they get a chance to do that too, which is pretty awesome. A lot of people, when it comes down to it, if you want to know what their mission is, it's in some way to help people or to contribute. And even if you're contributing by improving how you are a parent or a romantic partner or how you do your work, that has a ripple effect. So no matter what your work happens to be or who your family happens to be, you can have an impact.
yes, yeah, share the love, man. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, And so, um, is there anything else that you want to add, that you want to share?
Well, I think that it's really wonderful to witness what you and I have witnessed over time. And so I would encourage anybody who's looking for this type of discovery and realizing their potential or busting through blocks that they're experiencing to, at least inquire and find out more to see if this is a good fit for you. I know it's changed my life and it's allowed me to build this amazing life. I know, Tree, that's true for you too. And each person can find whatever their own version of that is. So it's a really amazing opportunity, in my eyes that way. So if this has inspired people, it's really worth learning more and finding out more.
Absolutely. And how can, if people want to do any kind of, so Robbie, she teaches NLP, neuro linguistic programming. She teaches stage hypnosis, obviously hypnosis itself, public speaking. I'm sure I'm missing a couple things there.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah,
Yeah, so that we do business mentorship for small business owners and entrepreneurs, training in larger companies as well for staff or leaders. So it's really whatever people need. So you can find out more at hypnosistrainingcanada.com is the website. And we're also on social media, any social media platform. If you just search for Hypnosis Training Canada, you'll find me.
awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being my first person to interview. I couldn't have picked a better person. And yeah, so join us next time at the Root of It All with Tree, where you're going to find all kinds of information and literally the root of it all. Thanks, Robbie.
Yeah, thanks, Tree.
Well, folks, that's a wrap for today's episode of The Root of It All with Tree. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. But before we go, I just wanted to remind you that you can follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram. And we will be posting motivational quotes and behind the scenes content that you won't want to miss. You can always sign up to come live while we're filming this, or even join us online through Zoom. We always offer open question and answer after each episode that we don't record, so it's all private, but you can get more involved. So sign up for free at businessgrowthresults.com, and we're going to cover all kinds of different topics that you're not going to want to miss. And if you're looking for that one-on-one guidance or help, be sure to book a free screening. You can do that at burlingtonhypnosis.ca or call 905-634-4777. And finally, you can catch our podcast on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So be sure to subscribe and never miss an episode. Thanks for listening.